cool. So this is the glowing butterflies level. Well, it's not really a level, it's more like just a little scene I did. So I just wanted to quickly take you through how I did all of that. It starts off in this weird place because I think it's kind of like a default place. So basically the scene is kind of like a fake scene. It's not a real 3D environment that you can move through. It's kind of like just a staged photo that you can move around a little bit. Basically, all of these trees is the same tree. So it doesn't even look like a tree. If I take it out of here, you can see what it looks like. It's just a bunch of sticks that are kind of rubbed around and a bunch of little pieces of a trunk. And that's basically just cloned and copied and rotated and stamped and smeared and placed all over the place. But when you see it in the blurred camera view, see if I can just go into the camera view over here. Oh yeah, I think I locked it, so let me just quickly do the unlock on that while we're busy here. It's under the tools over here. It's just a freeze. I just want to unfreeze it. Unfreeze it. And then we can go and view through the actual camera. So if you view through the camera, you'll see that it blurs the background for us, and the foreground is also kind of blurred over here in the front, and the medium background over there. So basically just this butterfly over here and this butterfly is kind of like in focus. And that's something you can obviously adjust when you're in the camera. There's some keys you see on the screen. You can narrow the field of vision. You can see I'm changing it there, so that the back butterflies are now in focus and the front one's out of focus. So let's exit this camera. And then I put some fog in it to create this kind of a misty forest fantasy feeling, that it's kind of like mystery. You don't know what's actually going on over there. I can turn off some of these effects just so you can see what's a little bit going on. I put a little switch there so it's easier to. The sun's actually coming through these, shining from the back, but I didn't really use a lot of the sunlight. I just turned it on to a very basic setting. Most of it is just this base over here. It's just this base, which is kind of like the ground. It's very dark. I think it's kind of like a very dark gray. And then on top of that, I just put a ton of rocks. And then on top of that, I did like a lot of detail with like a mossy thing. So you can see it's kind of like a mossy, grassy sort of idea. These are all actually also exactly the same. They're all the same piece. They've just been rotated and moved around. And the grass piece is just also a single piece. Hold on. It's a single piece of grass. And it's got like a bit of a 3D shape to it because I stamped it in a sequence. And I scattered that a little bit around the background so that you can see it over there. Let's give it a bit of an interesting vibe in the background, that you're looking through the grass and the grass is kind of obscuring the trunks of the trees. And then the mushrooms are just like just a nice little sculpt that I did, and it glows. And I made them all different colors so they look kind of cool. And these funny little alien eggs, or whatever the hell they are, I don't even know what they are. I started them off as this thing, which is kind of just like a bunch of spheres stuck to the surface of this kind of rock thing. And then I basically just shrunk it all down And I basically did kind of this. I'll show you the technique that I used. So, okay, now that's the flecks that are flying on top. Here they are. So basically what I did is you can see they're kind of like contouring the rocks. I got this technique. Oh, I can't remember who it was now, but there's this guy who shows you how to sculpt with physics. And what you basically do is you go into the sculpt, select everything, you tweak it, and then you make them movable, which is this toggle over here. And then basically we can keep this open. It's now complaining that these things are generating a lot of physics, so the physics is too much, but we're not going to use it, so you just press play, and then they basically fall. And then we stop it, and then wherever they fall is then on the rock, in between the rocks, whatever, and then you can take the movable off, and then they won't keep moving anymore. So, and if you rewind, this happens. So basically I had to figure out that what you must do is, there's a little trick to it. You basically just ungroup them while they're still selected, and then regroup them, and then they don't actually fall down anymore. And that's basically how I constructed all of these things. The butterfly was the most complicated because I had to literally sculpt this thing by hand. I didn't really see a nice butterfly. I've actually shared it on the Dreamiverse. So let me just copy it out for you guys so you can take it over here. And then basically let's just go in here. So it's quite a simple little thing. It's actually just got this little body. I'm just trying to get to the body where I can actually grab it. So there's the body. The body is tied to the wings. That's where you can't actually move it independently. Hold on. Let me just get rid of this stamping mode. Did I now stamp that in there? That was so silly. Hold on. Let me get back to the butterfly. So you can just see it's just like two little pieces. And because of the blend, it creates this nice smooth, I'm sorry, my thing is set to a very high sensitivity. It creates this cool little effect between them, and I just made these little antennae, and then basically the wings are just a bunch of sculpts inside one another, and then I put two squares. Try and grab it here so I can remove it. That's the one side, and then the other side. So it's kind of like a disc with lots of cylinders in it. You can see there's a ton of cylinders inside, which I kind of like sculpted them around the edge like this and used them to fill up the middle, and then I cut away the two pieces to create the thin wing. And then I painted it. That's all been hand painted with ink and then on top sprayed. And with all these little veins and whatever. I mean, I'm not an artist, so that's kind of like as good as I'm going to get for now. Maybe I'll become later a little bit better. And then I put a microchip on here, which basically just does a little randomizer, a timer, randomizer, and it's got two keyframes, the ones with the wings in this position, the other ones in the position at the top, and it makes sure that only one of the keyframes is on at a time because this cycles, and this one is this one is that one. So I kind of like scattered them around the two so that the wings beat up and down, and the timer is set to a very low value. I think it's 0.1. So basically all this thing does is when you play it, it just like kind of flaps its wings as you go along. Let me just undo all of this. Oh, I'm not going to save it anyway. And that's basically how I created this. Let me just get out of here. There's also like a grade on it. You'll see that I've got like a grade, a color grading on it. And I got some cool spotlights which cast these kind of weird shadows as if you're under a tree, because you can use patterns inside your. So I'm just going to move that so you can see it off. There we go. See it. So it's kind of like looking through the canopy of trees, and then you see that pattern. And that's kind of like how you create that effect. And then what I did was really cool, is I wanted to create some keyframes for the camera, and then I realized I could just use the camera shaker. Put it on full strength, which means it moves a lot. But what you do is you take the shake speed and you turn it down to almost nothing. And what this does is, when you press play, the camera moves, but it moves quite a lot, but it just moves very slowly from one place to the other. And then obviously the music is, oh my god, it's Adrian's track. She's been sharing a few things with me, and I just kind of like, there's her track. Just want to kind of show what she does. There's her full track, all the instruments and everything going like that, so you can see that. Yeah, I can also write my own music, but I haven't done that yet, so I'm just getting to grips with the audio controls right now. In the meantime, I've learned how to sculpt, I've learned how to make levels, I've learned camera movements, so I'm kind of getting there. So let's exit, don't save. I'll just go back in quickly and show you again what it looks like. So this is glowing butterflies. Thanks for watching the video. Hit the like if you enjoyed that. I'll be doing some more content, so please subscribe. And remember to hit the notification bell so you get a beep when I get a new video up.